So I wanted to make a video for people who wanted to get into investing in dividend stocks, but weren't comfortable with picking them on their own. So the easiest thing to do is just to try and find a dividend ETF that eliminates that work for you. For this, we're going to use the SCHD, which is the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. It's one that I use and one that I recommend to other people. So when we're evaluating a dividend ETF, we're really going to evaluate it just like any other ETF. We're going to look for certain things that we want to be in certain places for it to be a good investment for us. First thing you're going to want to look for is your expense ratio. At 0.06%, that's about as low as you're going to get. There's really nothing that's going to get below 0.05, so this is low, this is great. You're not going to be charged very much. That's for every $10,000 you put in, they're going to take $6 from you a year. Very good. The next thing we're going to want to look for is their portfolio. We want to see what they're holding, what they're invested in, what you are going to be invested in through them. I'm not going to do the entire holdings here because it's a list of 100 companies and it would take a long time to go through, so we'll just look at their top 10. So as we can see, we have Exxon, Altria, 3M, Texas Instruments, IBM, UPS, Coke, Verizon, US Bancorp, and BlackRock. So what we have here, very large blue chip companies, very stable, very safe. Even if your economy takes a downturn, these companies aren't going out of business. We can also look at how much they are invested in each. As we can see, Exxon is the highest at over 5%, and then all of the rest are somewhere at 3%. So a good mix. The Exxon is a little bit high considering how volatile oil can be, so you have to take that into consideration when looking at it. Then we can go down to the allocation by asset, by sector, market cap. Asset allocation is going to be 100% stocks almost entirely. This is usually cash investments and other things, so you don't have to worry about that much. What you really want to look at is sectors. You have your main sectors here, everything from financials to healthcare. The one issue here is that it is very heavily weighted towards financials. That means that if there is some kind of economic downturn, you're going to look at some kind of a hit. Banks, lenders, everything. If there's any kind of issue in the economy, you can expect there to be a downturn there. As we go down, industrials, staples, energy, communication, there is a good diversification here. Even if something happens in one sector, it's not going to bankrupt you. The fund isn't going to fail. That kind of thing isn't going to happen. Then we can look at market cap. As we can see here, these are large companies in the, thousands of millions, so billions of dollars. There's no small companies here. You're not going to see some tiny thing that's going to go out of business really quick. After that, we'll take a look at our distributions, and as we can see, our most recent distribution was 60 cents, and if we go back through time, we see that over the last 9 years of existence, that it has gone from 12 cents up to 60 cents. So your distributions are increasing. That means your underlying companies are mostly increasing their dividends. You're not going to be worrying about a large cut, if any, if you work in this ETF. Lastly, we're going to want to look at the performance of the ETF. How is it doing? Is it doing well? And the best way to do that is to look over the time periods, which are right here, if I can get it properly. There we go. We look at our 1 month, our 3 month, our year to date, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. We're not going to have a 10-year because technically the fund is only 9 years old, I believe, but there are other dividend funds out there where it'll have all this. So here we go. We look at our 1 year, we're up 35%. That's pretty amazing. Our 3 year and our 5 year, both in the mid-teens, very good. That beats the market long term. The last thing we want to do is compare it to the market. How is it doing compared to, the S&P? For that, we'll go to our backtest, and we'll have a few examples set up. We have our first portfolio, which is just SCHD, and our portfolio 2 and 3 are both S&P 500 tracking ETFs, one from Spider and one from Vanguard. So we'll go down and we'll look. Portfolio 1 is SCHD, and as we can see, after about 2013, it started to diverge slightly from the market. It is down compared to the broad market over a 9-year period. How much is it down? You're doing about 14% with SCHD as opposed to 15% with the broad market. If you're looking for total return, then going with the broad market, the S&P, is going to be better for you based on the last decade. But if you're looking for income, if you're going to use your dividends, say, to live off, you're not looking to reinvest them, it might be more tax efficient for you to do it that way. It might not. That's up to you. But if you're looking for a way to get into dividend stocks without having to take the hassle of evaluating everything, going over all the financials, a fund like SCHD is probably going to be a good start for you. I hope this helps, and thank you all.